Let's jump right into this explainer. We're constantly searching for the next massive high-tech leap in sustainability, right? Like some crazy new lab-grown material. But what if the zero-waste innovation we actually need today isn't in a lab at all? What if it's literally just a humble, hand-spun coconut husk? Today, we're unpacking the absolutely incredible story of Coir rope, taking it from an ancient coastal craft directly to the forefront of modern sustainable innovation. Can an 82-year-old's fading craft solve our modern plastic crisis? It's kind of wild to think about, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, you've got this deeply traditional practice relying completely on human hands and the rhythms of nature. And on the other, the incredibly urgent, entirely modern crisis of synthetic pollution. We are literally drowning in plastics that take centuries to break down. But as we're going to see, sometimes the absolute best answers to our modern problems are already written in the wisdom of our past. Section 1. The last traditional maker. So to really grasp this innovation, we need to go right to the source. Picture a peaceful coastal village near Alappuzha in Kerala, India. You've got these narrow canals weaving through lush greenery, coconut palms just swaying in the sea breeze. And right there, beside a quiet backwater, is Lakshmi Amma. She's 82 years old, and she is actually one of the very last traditional coir rope makers in the entire region. For 65 years, she has shown up every single day to turn coconut husks into incredibly strong ropes, entirely by hand. This isn't just some hobby for her. This is a craft that literally served as the economic backbone for thousands of families along the coast, well before the synthetic markets aggressively took over. And that brings us to the cultural weight of what she does. Lakshmi has this amazing saying, the rope held villages together long before it held boats. Because, it wasn't just a commodity to them. Back in the day, families would gather in the evenings just to spin these fibers together. They'd secure their farmhouses, tie up the village wells, build swings for the kids, all while sharing stories and songs. The rope was quite literally the thread binding the whole community together. Section 2. The zero-waste coconut. Now, the science of the raw material itself is just fascinating. The coconut wastes nothing. Those are Lakshmi's words, and man, they perfectly frame the coconut as the ultimate zero-waste resource. Think about our modern manufacturing today. We produce an insane amount of byproducts that just go straight to landfills. But in this traditional ecosystem, absolutely every single part of the coconut has a job. You drink the water, you eat the meat, the shell gets used for fuel or crafts, and the husk, which we'd normally just toss in the trash, well, that becomes the foundation for vital infrastructure. Okay, let's actually break down the mechanics of this zero-waste process, because Lakshmi's routine is meticulous. Before the sun's even up, she heads down to the canal. She pulls up these coconut husks that have been soaking in the backwaters for literally months. That natural soaking softens them up perfectly. Then, she manually separates the soft fibers, lays them out to dry in the morning sun, and finally takes those sun-dried fibers and starts her work on this super simple wooden spinning wheel. No electricity, no harsh chemical treatments, just natural processes, working completely in harmony. Section 3. Weaving strength from nature. The absolute crucial takeaway here is the structural engineering behind all this. You start out with these really delicate, sun-dried fibers, but through the effortless, just beautifully practiced rhythm of Lakshmi's hands on her spinning wheel, they transform into a seriously robust piece of engineering. It's all about exponential strength through mathematical layering. You twist 2 strands to make 4. 4 get twisted to make 8. Slowly, through this incredibly precise tension, a massively strong rope forms. It's this brilliant example of how you can build pure structural integrity using nothing but natural geometry. And look, the proof of this strength isn't just theoretical. The explainer shares this fantastic anecdote about a veteran fisherman coming to Lakshmi's shed. He flat out refuses to use modern, factory-made synthetic ropes to tie up his family's old wooden boat. He just looks at her and says, "My father trusted your ropes, so do I." When you're talking about high-stakes jobs out on the open water, the sheer reliability of this handmade core is still totally unmatched for the people whose lives actually depend on it. Section 4. The Sustainable Revival. So, here is exactly why this matters to us right now. We are facing a pretty stark contrast. On one side, you have the toxic reality of modern synthetic ropes. They aren't biodegradable, they are constantly shedding microplastics into our oceans, and making them is horribly polluting. But then, on the other side, we have the pure brilliance of traditional koi. It's 100% renewable, totally biodegradable, and as that fisherman just showed us, incredibly durable. This completely shifts what we're talking about from just a quaint history lesson to an incredibly urgent showcase of environmental innovation. And the best part, this 65-year-old traditional routine is finally catching the eye of modern innovators. Enter a young environmental entrepreneur who recently made a trip to Lakshmi's workshop. Her goal was clear: figure out how to replace polluting plastic products using natural, earth-friendly materials. And she wasn't there to disrupt or change the traditional ways, she was there to learn from them. She was determined to take these ancient techniques and use them as the literal foundation for designing entirely new, eco-friendly products. Let's just quickly fire off the specific traits Lakshmi is passing on to this young entrepreneur. Coir is renewable. I mean, coconuts grow back incredibly fast. It's biodegradable. When the rope eventually wears out, it just goes right back to the earth, cleanly, without leaving a trace of pollution. And it's surprisingly durable, holding up to salt water and massive loads. These traits prove without a doubt that coir isn't some dusty relic. It is a highly viable, real-world, zero-waste alternative to the modern plastics that are literally choking our ecosystems right now.
Section 5. Passing the spinning wheel.
This next part is just beautifully symbolic. It's the literal and metaphorical passing of the torch. On her very last working day, Lakshmi makes this monumental decision. She takes her cherished wooden spinning wheel, the exact tool with a handle worn perfectly smooth from decades of relentless rhythmic use, and she gifts it to the young eco-entrepreneur. And the young woman accepts it, making a promise to keep the craft alive and weave it directly into the sustainable products of our future. As she hands over the wheel, Lakshmi shares this incredibly profound piece of wisdom. She says, "A wheel keeps turning only when someone believes in the journey." Really think about what we should take away from this. True sustainable innovation isn't always about inventing something totally new out of thin air. A lot of the time, it requires us to actively believe in and carry ancient proven knowledge forward into the future. It's all about continuity. And you see the community ensuring that this continuity stays vibrant and honestly just joyful. Take the annual harvest celebration in the village, for example. The craft is right there front and center. Lakshmi's handmade coir ropes are used to decorate these grand temple chariots. They tie up traditional swings beneath massive, ancient banyan trees where the kids laugh and play. This old craft isn't just barely surviving in some commercial sense, it continues to be the absolute fabric of their community celebration. As the sun starts setting over the backwaters, Lakshmi finishes twisting one final length of coir rope. She coils it neatly up, looking out at the drifting fishing boats in that fading golden light. And she wraps up her story with this massive, really emotional realization. She says, "People think I made ropes, but all my life I connected people to the land, the sea, and each other." Her life's work wasn't just manufacturing, It was actively maintaining that delicate, incredibly essential balance between human society and the natural world. Which leaves us with this final, truly vital question. What other ancient traditions hold the key to our sustainable future? Lakshmi Amma just showed us that a zero-waste, circular economy isn't some trendy modern buzzword. It's a whole way of life that existed way before plastics were ever even invented. So I challenge you to really look around. What other incredible, totally sustainable solutions are out there, just waiting for us to rediscover them in the wisdom of our past?